Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Can you believe we are almost done with this 14-day detox? I'm on my computer, so I'm always like, which way do I look? But I believe it's this way so that I can look right into your eyes. um, so I want to share about what's next. Many of you have just dove into this detox and really embraced it. And I'm sure you've learned a few things about yourself that you didn't realize, maybe perhaps as far as food and emotional eating and those types of things go. Maybe you realized that you have a little bit more strongholds than you thought you did. And this has been an opportunity for you to really embrace those things and just nip things in the bud. And so many of you have done a fabulous job just being a part of this and sharing your progress. And for many of you, I know this is not means to an end. This is actually just the beginning for you. It was just a matter of trying it out and seeing, kind of testing what you knew, seeing what you could do, because maybe like myself, you've tried things over and over again, and starting is definitely a hard part, but finishing is a whole different level. In fact, I'm listening to a training on finishing strong, because it's said that the hardest part is starting, but all of us, we all make goals. And so it's not hard to start something, but it is very hard to finish. And that is what being part of this particular detox has allowed for many of us the opportunity. So I just want to give you a little bit of backstory for myself and my personal health and fitness journey. It didn't start where I am today. In fact, it actually goes all the way back for me. It goes back to when I kind of reached that point of realizing, I couldn't eat what I want. I could no longer eat what I wanted. And no, my weight doesn't just fall right off any longer. And that was actually, it was December of 2012. And I personally, at that time, I had my second son, and he was about 10 months old, or actually late 9 months old. Around that time frame. And with my first son, I had him and pretty much went back right into, my shape, I guess, or my weight. I wouldn't say my shape, but my weight. And then my second son, I had him, but, and I lost all of my weight, but then I gained all of it back, all of it. And I remember, so actually it was October of 2012. I was invited to a wedding, and it was my cousin's wedding, and absolutely I wanted to go, but I didn't want to go because we were unemployed. We were living with family. Finances were definitely an issue. And I was postpartum, it was, if it were October, it was about 7 to 8 months. And I felt horrible. And so my sister, trying to be helpful, pulled out her biggest clothes for me to be able to wear. And you can imagine none of it fit. And she was like telling me, lay on the bed, I'll get these jeans up you and, whatnot. And the zipper just kept falling down and whatnot. And it was a really, really discouraging time for me. So I was 40 pounds overweight. And I know for some, that's just, a beginning, like you'd be happy to be 40 pounds overweight. And I fully acknowledge that. But for me, that was my biggest that I had ever been post a child. And so you would think that from that point, I would have said, okay, I'm moving forward and no more. But that's not how it worked. I just carried on doing what I did and just being discouraged and eating what I wanted. And and then I actually experienced early December 2013, I experienced vertigo for 3 weeks. And it was to the point where I ended up going to the clinic. We didn't have insurance at the time. I ended up going to the local clinic, and I was experiencing Bell's palsy on one side. So I was completely numb and unable to lift my eyelid, and my lips looked lopsided and whatnot. And so the doctor that saw me at the clinic said, you need to go to the ER. I believe you might be having a minor stroke. Now, for somebody looking at me on the outside, 40 pounds overweight, it's not a big deal. It should be easy to take off. But you wouldn't have imagined that I would be experiencing those types of health issues. So always, what you see isn't always, it doesn't always mean it's healthy just because you're slim or you look good or, you're not as heavy as the other person. Inside, my body was definitely crying out and saying, you need to make changes. And so I went to the ER and, after all of the tests and everything like that, over time, my Bell's palsy just went away. Everything came back inconclusive. And so it left me I was told to go to my primary care physician and follow up. Well, I didn't have insurance, so primary care physician was not an option for me. So I had to figure it out. I did a lot of research. I watched a ton of documentaries, and it really did open up quite a can of worms for me in my life, but it was a good can of worms. It really helped me to be aware, to educate myself, and to make changes. The changes that I made are very, very similar to this detox. However, I didn't know to mix certain things. I did it very arbitrarily. And yes, I did shed 40 pounds in 6 weeks. But at the same time, I was miserable. And I did start working out. It wasn't just, eating well. It was also working out. And I did try doing the gym. And I was homeschooling my oldest son. At that time, he was in kindergarten, and I just found like I was just trying to juggle so many things between, trying to figure out what to eat, trying to get to the gym, trying to follow the instructor or a class, or not sure what to do. Personal trainers were super pricey. Homeschooling and trying to rush my son through homeschool so I could get to the gym. It was just a really, really tough time. While, yes, I was having results, I can't say that I was fully content with the season and the options made available to me. I didn't know that there would be somebody like myself, or very much like what I do. I didn't know somebody like me existed. I didn't know these groups existed to give support and provide accountability and community. I didn't know. And so I carried on, trying to maintain what I ate and how I ate and all of those things. And yes, of course, I was definitely pleased with the results, and I tried my best to keep up with them. But, old habits, they will present themselves if you aren't staying accountable to that. And so that's what happened. Over time, I started adding new things into my life as far as food goes that my body didn't find favorably. And over time, I slowly but surely started gaining the weight again. And we found out we were pregnant. By this time, we were living in our own home, and we found out we were pregnant with our, at that time, third pregnancy. To later, which we found out there was no heartbeat, and then I would be miscarrying naturally. I ended up hemorrhaging and almost dying through that miscarriage, and it was a very, very trying time. I wanted my body to miscarry naturally, so it lasted about 30 days. We found out December 31st of 2013. There was no heartbeat, and then the baby miscarried, or my body tried to miscarry the baby on January 28th, so just about 30 days. Then I was on bed rest for 30 more days post that, because I was like 0.3 points away from needing a blood transfusion. That's how much blood I had lost. But so because I didn't have the transfusion, my bone marrow needed to reproduce the blood, and then left me on bed rest. Well, this place we're living in right now, we got into on February 1st. So I miscarried January 28th, and we moved into this place February 1st. And we had found out that was all going to take place during my miscarriage time, when my body was miscarrying naturally. So I couldn't pack my home. I couldn't unpack my home. I couldn't be a part of the move. In fact, I actually had to go stay at my aunt's house just to not be a part of it. because I was supposed to be on bed rest, and I couldn't care for my kids. I couldn't provide meals. It was a really, really hard time. And that's when I was able to see a living community through our church family really come in. We had someone taking care of me, taking care of my boys, unpacking my home. But I did experience postpartum loss. I had phantom movements in my belly. I slept horribly for that year later. And I had phantom breast milk letdowns, like as if I was ready to feed when the baby would have essentially have been born, which would have been August of 2014. So all to say, my health definitely did not take priority, and I felt it. And as I was approaching 1 year anniversary of, finding out there was no heartbeat, and then of course the miscarriage, I said, I can't do this. I can't live like this any longer, because so much of who I am and who I was is no longer existent. I don't even know who I am any longer. And anybody who was there during that time knows that it was a different me. So one of the things that I was doing when I had miscarried or found out there was no heartbeat, was I was doing a workout program. And so I said, let me dust that workout program off, right? We buy things with good intentions, and then we never read them if it's a book, we never watch it if it's a DVD, and we never press play if it's a workout DVD. So I chose to press play, and I completed the program from start to finish, and I shared about it. And that's when I had a few friends approach me about doing this as a business, sharing my journey as a business. And I didn't want to be the salesperson. I didn't want to be this person that people avoid. But the reality is that I did have a piece of my life that I felt I wanted to share. And so that's when I embarked on being a health and fitness coach, which is what I am today. And let me tell you, I gained community. I gained support. I gained family that I never knew I had. Every single one of you that I have met, some of you, yes, we already knew each other, but many of you I have met because of me being a coach. And I would have not changed that for the world. And yes, I had a successful pregnancy with pregnancy number 4, which is my Jude, my 2-year-old Jude. I gained 10 pounds from start to finish with him. I shed that weight as soon as I had him, and I have kept it off. And now I'm pregnant again, and I'm increasing my weight very healthfully, and I'm not stopping. And so that's what I wanted to share with you, was obviously a little bit of backstory to help you get to know me a little bit more, for those of you who this is our first time really interacting with one another. And I have no longer lived a yo-yo lifestyle, whether it be my faith, whether it be my relationship with my husband, with my children, with my nutrition, with my exercise, and I want that same thing for you. And so I wanted to let you know that after this 14-day detox, which ends on Sunday, it will be opened up to be a health and fitness accountability group for the next 20 or 30 days, essentially. So you have the opportunity to join myself and also our Ruby Arenas, which is one of my coaches that I get to partner with. And what that means is continuing on these new habits, keeping that accountability, choosing on what has worked and what has not worked. We will be using what's called where we can stream all of our workouts, and that's something that is available to you as well. So you will be having an option to have fitness in it. And of course, you have the accountability of each of us, like you have seen the accountability be ever so present. And we will be using portion containers, which are they're different colors to help us identify a fruit, a vegetable, a grain, a protein, and those types of things. And this can work for any type of lifestyle, whether it be paleo, whether it be on plant-based, any of those types of things. It is definitely, there's a plan for every single person. So we'll be focusing on our nutrition still. We will be working out once a day, depending on what you're able to do. You can also mix this in if you do go to the gym. You can do that, and you can do this the days that you can't make it to the gym. So there's a lot of options made available to you, and there is a plan that works for every single person. So I want to make sure I give you enough time to really think about it, and really evaluate if this is something that you want to be, fly on the wall and just watch from a distance, or if you want to be an active part of it, I want you to be. We want you to be. And we know that, we know that our life wouldn't be where it is if we didn't have groups like these and the community that it has a same goal, which is to be the best that we can be for those in our lives, for those around us. So nothing changes if nothing changes. And so you have jump started. You have kicked your butt into gear, and you have found some new, some things that you really enjoyed, and I think you should continue on. So let me know, your thoughts. What are you thinking you're going to be doing next, and how I can help you make this a continued reality for your life. And so if you need a package, we will be using, of course, the shakes and like I said, the workout programs, it's all optional for you. But of course, the reason I offer it is because it has provided the most optimum of nutrition and fitness for my life. So thank you, everybody. I am so thankful to be a part of this, and I cannot wait to hear from each of you and help you continue on your health and fitness journey.